Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. I'm hoping the ad that Twitch says is underway is not actually underway, so that way you guys can actually see what's going on right now. But F1R continues to lead, and it will be ESV Karts, who is going to be second right behind him. And we are now down to just 17 cars here in the top level. As we are going back underway here once more at Spa-Francorchamps. Is Calvin, Karts, Dex, COD, Chaos, Dindu, and Iconic Adam in the top 5 positions here. As they head down the straightaway, Karts is actually pulled away a bit from COD, Chaos, and Dindu, but he does not seem to have anything on F1R Calvin. So it seems like the fight might be here for third. Dindu tucked up behind COD Chaos as they get to the top of the hill and start sneaking and sneaking and binding their way down through Sector 2 here. Run downhill once more. Nothing big, nothing crazy here early on, not for now. Karts is actually closed in on Calvin just a little bit after going through the first few bits of the corners now. So now in Sector 2, the gap seems to close down and now start opening up. Karts has left himself open to attack. Here comes COD Chaos! COD Chaos and the Dex machine goes to the inside of ESV Karts. They are neck and neck, side by side, and we see ESV Karts is wide. Karts is really wide, and Dindu gets by. Here comes Iconic Adam. Iconic Adam wants to get by as well. Karts has slid all the way back to the 4th position. Now he's going to fight back on the inside, try to get back to at least 3rd. But Dindu is going to be on the inside line in the following corner. Going to try and squeeze Karts wide. They're still side by side. Iconic Adam wants to make it 3 wide, but he thinks better of it. Not going to do anything crazy. Dindu keeps Karts squeezed on that extreme inside line. Now they're going to be side by side as they come into Sector 3 already. Karts tries to hold the inside. Here comes Adam again. He looks to try and make it 3 wide. And it looks like Dindu is just barely going to clear Karts. Here comes VER Dwarf and Iconic Adam. They're stuck fighting. They can't get alongside. Karts back there. Now these 5 drivers are all going to fire it off down into the second to last corner here. They all are going to stay single file for now. Here comes Karts. He's going to dive to the inside. Big dive. Try to get alongside Dindu, but Dindu matches him. And now we see Iconic Adam get alongside. Iconic Adam puts the car alongside ESV Karts. Still side by side, and now as they put the power down coming out of the chicane, we see Karts maintain 4th position. But immediately, our top 2 are able to open up a gap on the rest of the field without any significant issue, as Karts is choked and fallen all the way back to the 4th spot and might even lose that depending on how this goes. He still has Iconic Adam right behind him as they now head downhill once again. Big thing to consider, we are now on a dry track all over again. There's going to be a lot more grip. Drivers going to be able to go a lot faster, and the tires are actually going to start wearing now. Normally, everyone's going to have a lot of interesting tire strats, so we're going to keep an eye on that as this goes forward. Karts holds on to 4th. Iconic Adam is 5th. Adam now looking to the inside. Is he going to throw it up the inside here? And no, it's going to be Karts. Karts goes for a big dive, trying to lunge on Dindu, but Dindu is not caught off guard, and Adam is going to capitalize, and Adam around the outside gets by Karts. And ESV Karts now slips back to 5th position. Downhill once again now, and it's just going from bad to worse for Karts, it seems early on here. Has there been a disconnect? Oh no, has there been a disconnect? Drivers are lagging out. Are they doing a lobby reset? They looks like they are doing a lobby reset. A fantastic and interesting start to the race, and all of a sudden, we have a complete lobby reset. And I hate to say it, but with that, this basically guarantees that barring something crazy, we will not be able to cover Stint 5 to the end here. So we will not be able to cover Stint 5 to the end because of this lobby reset. I apologize for that. I don't know why we had a lobby reset. Typically, if they complete an entire lap without a lag out, they won't restart. But for some reason, there is a lobby reset. And I have to wonder if maybe there is some other issue going on here. I do apologize for this, though. So we will not be able to cover Stint 5 to the end. I do apologize for that issue. We will try to cover as much of Stint 5 as is feasibly possible. But we will not be able to run to the end unless something crazy happens here. So now we're just in a prolonged holding and waiting period until they get underway once more. All right, looks like we're about to do another attempt here in just a moment. So for those of you who have missed, the stints 3 and 4, they were ran under wet circumstances. So everyone used the same tire all the way through. For everyone who wasn't on the DexCOD Chaos team, it was a 5-stop strategy. The Dex team have been running 4-stop strategies throughout the time. They've been the wild card, bucking the trend as this has gone on. Excuse me. All right, here we are on track. Attempt number 2 here for Stint 5. Hopefully whatever caused us to reset earlier does not afflict us again. And maybe ESV Karts will have a better shot at the start of this event this time. We are now down to 17 entrants in this top level. And we'll see them take off here into Al Rouge. Green flag once again at Spa-Francorchamps. This time, Karts is a little bit closer to F1R Calvin. And it seems like there's just a little bit more action near the back, but this is the big thing. Karts right there on Calvin. He's got the draft, and he's going to the outside. Is this what Karts needs? Karts putting the bumper to Calvin. They're touching 2-3 times. They are dead heat. Now as they fly down to the braking zone, Karts is going to go deep, really deep, and ESV Karts is by. And Karts clear as F1R Calvin at the restart now. And now Calvin is under threat from DexCOD Chaos as they start heading downhill and go through Sector 2 this time. Through the twisties on the run downhill now. Karts has completely clean air ahead. Could this be it? We know that one of the F1R entries, the one that F1R Cole is in, we know that that entry is very good in traffic, but we don't know about Calvin. Calvin's car and his team, they have been in clean air almost every stint that we've seen them thus far. As Codcast runs really wide there, completely misses the track, and he's going to fall off. So now, can Calvin get by Karts? Can he do it quickly? If he is held up behind Karts for a significant period of time, it could derailed things a bit. Now realize the F1R team has a massive amount of overall distance. For now, it's just a matter of can Karts win a stint at least? Can he put the ESV team on his back and actually get something out of this? Because the F1R team has won the last 2 stints in absolutely dominant performance right now. Through Sector 3, F1R Calvin runs behind ESV Karts. MG versus Lincoln Co. F1R is in the MG, Karts is in the Lincoln Co. machine. Calvin's coming to the outside. Karts does a bit of a half-hard block, and Calvin has to back way off there in the corner. Now they come up into the chicane once for the first time on this attempt. Iconic Adam and Enduro are back to find for 4th and 5th, and Codcast is starting to close back in on our top 2 once more. Calvin nice and wide coming out of the chicane, down the start-finish line straight away again. Calvin's not close enough to make a big dive into turn 1, not this time at least. But he might be setting up for something big going through Al Rouge and Radion. What can the F1R team do in dry conditions when they have to make the overtake? Karts leads. Calvin's going to look to the inside. He backs out. He's just going to fall in line behind. A little bit of a slide by Karts. Calvin stays right behind. This time, Calvin is the one who has the perfect draft on Karts. He can now do to Karts what Karts did to him on the prior sector. Karts defends the inside. Calvin's going to go outside. He's got the car a third of the way ahead. 2/3 of the way ahead. He's almost completely ahead. Karts goes really deep under braking. They'll be side by side through the following corner. They make contact, and Calvin is sideways and keeps the car straight somehow. He's got to lose a big chunk of time in the process, but that was almost a repeat of what happened between those 2 cars at the other end of the circuit in Stint 4. But that time, Karts went around. This time, they both keep it straight. Karts hold station ahead of Calvin for just a little bit longer. COD Chaos does not seem to have what it takes to keep traction with these 2. These 2 are in a zone of their own right now, and it seems very obvious that Calvin is faster than Karts, but Karts is trying to do anything he can to keep that MG behind him. Now they're going through the double downhill left-hander. A bit of a run here as they get to the bottom of the circuit through what might as well be considered a set of S's. Calvin backs off just a little bit, trying to likely set himself up for a nice clean run on the run through Sector 3, potentially. COD Chaos slipping back into Iconic Adam's grasp. But this is our focus. Calvin has a really good exit. So does Karts. The gap between them is about a car length and a half. Calvin has the draft on Karts. Can he make something of it this time? He's a little bit farther back. The draft is really powerful. Now he goes to the outside. Karts defends. Karts slides right in front of Calvin. Again, Calvin is forced to back out in the corner. But he's even closer. Does he go for a lunge into braking? No, not this time. He thinks better of it, but he still is right behind the ESV entry as they go through the chicane, and Karts gets a better run out of the chicane this time. Calvin had a little bit of a struggle in the crossover from the right hand to the left hand corner. The gap opens up just a little bit once more. Gap's about to where it was this time last circuit. Now they come through the hairpin again. What can Calvin do to Karts? This has been the first time we have seen ESV lead more than a single lap on an off-strategy scenario. In fact, this is the first time they've led 2 laps in a row. Now they come down through Al Rouge and Radion once again. The gap is a little bit bigger, but there's a big slide by Karts up ahead. Karts is all sorts of sideways, trying and struggling to keep the car under him. Calvin's car is nice and perfectly planted. Calvin has a fantastic run, way better than last time. He's already alongside. He's going to clear Karts before they even get into the braking zone. There's nothing that Karts could do. The car got way too sideways through Al Rouge and Radion. Karts says, I'm not taking this. He puts the bumper to Calvin. Calvin's car is too planted. There's nothing that can be done. Calvin goes back to the top. What can Karts do? Is it even possible to do anything to Calvin? It seems to me that the car is just too good, and the F1R cars do not make a mistake. We don't know if it's a tuning issue, a tuning difference. We don't know if it's a balance issue, or maybe the F1R drivers have just put enough practice in and they are just that good. Neither of them are taking the optional extra wide line on that little straight coming into the double downhill left-hander, interestingly enough, though. Now the run downhill. Calvin runs a little bit wide. Karts is a little bit more restrained. Calvin defends the inside. Karts is going to go way to the outside. Make contact. He's right there on the outside. Can he try and go deep into the following corner? No. But Calvin is not just trying to pull away. He is still actively defending against Karts here. Now into Sector 3. This is where Calvin has been really strong before. But that was with the draft. Now it is Karts that has the draft on Calvin. What can he do back? Calvin's not going to be compromised with a car ahead of him through the high-speed left-hander, and Karts is going to be the one now who has the draft. Karts seems to be a little faster than Calvin through the corner this time. He's closed the gap down, but not enough to make a move. He looks to the inside. Here comes a dive. Calvin moves over and blocks it. There's contact. Calvin sideways again. It holds both of them up by quite a bit. Karts is right there behind Calvin again. Does he go for a move going into the hairpin? Calvin running a middling lane. Karts, I don't think he's going to go for a dive bomb. Not this time. He backs out. Trying to have a good exit. He does have a good exit. He is right behind Calvin this time. Now they head through Al Rouge and Radion. This is where Karts lost ground last circuit, lost the lead. But now, the shoe's on the other foot. At the top of the hill. Neither car struggles. Karts has a fantastic draft this time. Calvin holding inside. Karts still in the draft. Is he going to go inside or outside? He looks to the inside. Calvin tries to run him into the dirt. There's contact. A lot of contact. And Calvin is shifted off circuit. Karts runs Calvin off track. Karts misses the corner and Calvin is run off track. Karts backs off, says that's no bueno. I'm not going to take the position like that. But in the process, now Calvin has a gigantic gap between them. The gap is massive. Is Calvin going to get deemed for track violation? Because when he was pushed off track, he did not brake, he did not lift, he kept the power down and just went by, and Calvin now shows up. And for those of you who remember the memes from Daytona, Pumbalia, Pumbalia, it's Kiria Malavia, Meskina Galas and Yasu to me, Pumbalia, Pumbalia. Alright, but anyways, now F1R Calvin has a gigantic lead over ESV Karts, but how is it going to get looked at later? Calvin blocked on Karts going down the straightaway, and we saw a fantastic scenario going down the back straightaway where Calvin blocked Karts. Karts was pushed 2 tires onto the inside. Then Calvin went wide to the outside. Karts followed. They both jumped onto the brakes, but Karts hit Calvin. Calvin went off and did not even attempt to slow down. Did not even come close to attempting to slow down as he cut the track at the end of the Camel straightaway and opened up a gigantic gap on ESV Karts, who backed down on it to try his best to not take an advantage. Now we are seeing Calvin backing down his pace just a little bit. But is it intentional, or is there just Calvin kind of struggling? We don't know. Now the gap's opening back up. But Calvin has cut the track, but there was contact before he went off. We do not know how that is going to be ruled post-stint. But either way, for the first time, we finally see a scenario where ESV is able to take the fight to the F1R team, and it ends up with some incredible chaos. Makes for fantastic watching. I won't lie, I feel awful for the TORA officials between the accident in Stint 4 and now this incident here early on in Stint 5. It has been absolutely heartbreaking and heart-wrenching for every single person on the TORA staff who looks at these penalty submissions and they're just like, I just wanted to spend time with my wife, or I just wanted to spend time watching Dr. House, or I just wanted to spend time working, because they're gonna have to go through a lot of this stuff. But anyways, F1R, once again, leading by a significant margin, but we don't know how much of it is going to hold post-race off of penalties. Dex COD Chaos has had a few moments where he slid off circuit a little bit, but it does seem like COD Chaos has stabilized into the 3rd position. Iconic Adam is up here in 4th. and he has moved nice and solidly ahead of NDL Dindu in 5th. PTG Little Caesar, who had the Forza glitch where it will briefly reset your account, is on an alternate account. He is currently running in 6th position. 7th place is C1 Munz. AFMG Heller is running in 8th. Dex Gatilio is running in 9th. Now, he is fighting with AMG Heller right now. And then you have 10th is ZR Taffy. I could go for some Taffy right now. 11th is Dex X Donnie. 12th is VER Dwarf. 13th is RBM6. 14th is ZR Eternium. 15th is F1R Cole. 16th is CH Racing 88. And 17th is your lobby host, ESV Bobberts, as once again, we see Bobberts put at the back of the grid, and no, I am not going to marry any of you guys. You can absolutely forget that. I'm committed to my pony waifu. Anyways, we are looking right now as the highest battle on track at moment is C1 Moons right now. C1 Moons? I'm not sure if it's supposed to be Moons or Muns, but he is right now running in 7th in the highest fight on track right now between himself and AFMG Heller. But what I want to do is I want to go ahead and start from the top of the grid, and we're going to look at everybody's tires and get an idea on who's on softs and who's on mediums. Right now, excuse me, right now 53% for Calvin, so Calvin's definitely on softs. What about Karts, who's running in 2nd? 57% definitely on softs. Dex Cod Chaos, who is rating in 3rd, he is on 56, so definitely on softs. Iconic Adam, who is rating in 4th, definitely on softs. NDL Dindu, who is rating in 5th. Mediums, more than likely. He is only at 38% tire wear, so keep an eye on him. PTG Little Caesar, who is running 6th right now, he is likely on mediums as well. C1 Moons, who is in the 7th position, he is at 40% likely on mediums, but he's really burning through them. Then AFMG Heller in 8th position. He is likely on softs as he is going for a big dive on the inside of Moons, and he will make that move stick. ZR Taffy, who is back here in the 9th position, 37% likely on the mediums. Dex X Donnie, who is in 10th right now, he is likely on the softs with how much wear he's got on that thing. Dex Goltho, who is in the 11th position, he is at 61%. He's going to have to pit at the end of this lap. He is just burning through those tires. Then you have VER Dwarf, who is in 12th. He is at 40%. He is likely on a set of mediums. RBM6, who is in 13th position, is likely on a set of mediums as well. He is really shooting through those. F1R Cole, who is in 14th position, he is at 31%. He might be on mediums. That is really saving tire life. 15th will be ZR Eternium. He is on mediums, but he is really chewing through his as well. 16th is ESV Bobberts, who was gotten by CH Racing. Bobberts likely on a set of mediums, maybe even a set of hards, honestly. And then 17th, CH Racing. He is likely on a set of mediums right now at this stage of the event. So, a lot of strategy madness going on right now, and keep an eye on NDL Dindu. He is the highest driver of everyone who is not on the softs at the moment. As we are preparing for our first round of pit stops right now, look at this fight going on for 7th, 8th, 9th, all these cars right on top of each other, 7th through 10th really, all right on top of each other, all on different levels of tire life right now. Heller trying to keep Munz behind him. He's holding the inside. Munz, or is it Moons? I don't know. He's going to go to the outside. Neck and neck. Hard under braking to AFMG. Trying to hold station. And now Heller's going to go ahead and jump into the pit lane. And look at how many drivers are pitting. And NDL Dindu goes into the lead as he has on an alternate strategy now. We are going to go ahead and knock out our first Twitch mandated ad break in the middle of the broadcast, and when we come back, we'll see where everyone shakes up after our soft tire runners pit early here at Spa. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Spa-Francorchamps. Calvin and Karts, our top two, have their own little controversy that they're going to have to be looking at post-event. But after both made their stops, they are now trying to fight through traffic, and Calvin is struggling trying to get through traffic right now. He's still behind F1R Cole, still behind ZR Eternium. Now, I believe that Cole would likely get out of the way of Calvin right away normally, but Cole is fighting for his own thing, and Calvin's like, come on! You're on the F1 team! Let me by! And Calvin is just not having it. And there's contact! Boy, there's a lot of contact! There's ZR Eternium! And he gets turned! And he saves it! But a lot of contact there between ZR Eternium and Calvin! And that's great news for Karts, because this means that Karts might be able to put a little bit more clean laps in and run down. ZR Taffy is going ahead and jumping into the pit lane right now. But Calvin now is ahead of Cole, ahead of Eternium, but has lost a lot of positions. What can Karts do? Karts has to get by these two drivers flying ahead of him before he has any chance to try and run down on F1R Calvin. There may be, no guarantee, there may be a penalty against Karts or Calvin. But if there is, in either direction, Karts has to figure out, wait, oh, that's going to be a problem! That is a real big problem as Karts goes into the dirt to avoid an accident! You are riding right on board there as Karts had to swerve into the dirt. All four tires off track, made the overtake off track just so he would not end up in an accident. And now he is by ZR Eternium and closing down on F1R Cole. How aggressively is Cole going to defend against ESV Karts? Cole put up a hell of a defense against Calvin earlier. How much of a defense is he going to put up against ESV Karts? Not quite nose to tail, and now Karts gets to the inside. How deep does he go into braking? Plenty deep, and there's contact, and they both set themselves off the ideal line, and all of a sudden Eternium is there all over again! This is like a bar fight. It's like a bar fight on the weeknight, and you do not look right. It's like a pole fight with no might. You wake up on the first light. This is how we drive and how we ride. Oh. Calvin has gotten by RBM6 farther up the road. ZR Eternium falls back behind F1R Cole, and Karts is going to open up a small gap on Cole and Eternium. But the struggles that the leaders have had to make it through traffic in the wet conditions, there was nothing like this. Everyone was on really close to tires, so when traffic did catch each other, the tire differential was so massive, it didn't really have much of an impact as someone got around back there. It's one of their drivers, it doesn't look like anyone got around. There's a lot of smoke and dust in the air, but no one looks like it went around. But man, navigating through traffic has been the biggest trouble for most of these drivers thus far. F1R Calvin now trying to close in on VER Dwarf, and we are anticipating that our drivers who started on the medium tires will be paying at almost any moment now. So here's the big thing. Do you want to go all softs throughout the entire race? Do you want to go all mediums? Do you want to have a nice balance between mediums and softs? Lil Caesar and C1 Moons both pitting this time by, but VER Dwarf is going to stay out, and so will NDL Dindu. We look at NDL Dindu real quickly, and his tire life, he's going to be in the 50s for sure, 60% exactly, and he's going to have just enough fuel to make it to the end. What a VER Dwarf, who is on a set of Ward medium tires right now, 59%, with a little bit more fuel in the tank. So Dwarf can fight a little bit more aggressively with Calvin if he so chooses, and guess what? Well, Dwarf has already fallen behind F1R Calvin, so much for that. Karts is maintaining most of the gap that he had to F1R Calvin. If anything, it might be slowly opening up. I don't think Karts is going to have to deal with the traffic of VER Dwarf. I could be wrong, but I don't think he'll have to. ZR Eternium and CH Racing also pit. So Cole, Bobberts, Dwarf, and Dindu are the only four drivers who have yet to make their first stop of the event. 46% for Cole. I have to wonder, is Cole on a set of hard tires trying to do something really wild? Same thing with Bobberts. These drivers are not even at 50% wear. I have to wonder if Cole and Bobberts are trying to run on the hard tires and make a hard tire strategy work by cutting out an entire extra pit stop. It's a bold strategy, Pat, and let's see how it plays out. Calvin is nowhere near Dindu on circuit right now, though. That is for certain. Karts closing down on VER Dwarf. Dex Cod Chaos is also cleared most of the traffic as well, as now in a nice little clean part of the circuit as well at this stage of the event. So tire strategy all over the place here now that the track is in the nighttime and it is completely dry. Cole and Bobberts are both stuck on top of each other now. I just don't know how good of a strategy this honestly ended up being. Again, I think these two are on mediums. I don't know if it's actually going to give them any significant benefit. They're likely going to end up ahead of Dindu, but Dindu's going to be on fresh tires and just going to mow right by them. Again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these guys are on medium tires and they're running a strategy that really is hyper tire conservative, but it feels like Cole and Bobberts are on the hard tires. For those of you who don't know, I cover a lot of the P1R SEC Enduros. Those are 6-hour Enduros with tire wear also set to 2.5x. And the hard tires never, ever have worked out in that series. But maybe there's something different here. All right, Cole and Bobberts both staying out. And we know they're both going to end up ahead of Dwarf. Are they going to end up ahead of Dindu? That is the question. And yes, it seems like the answer is they will end up ahead of Dindu. But by how much is the question here? As Calvin, Karts, and COD Chaos go back first, second, third on the circuit now. And Cole and Roberts end up behind Iconic Adam, not by a massive amount. Yeah, these are the only two drivers, I believe, who are running on these harder tires. Dindu, who was on the mediums, has a big gap between themselves and Cole and Bobberts, but he's going to catch them and run them down without any issue. And even if he doesn't catch them on track, he's going to catch them on lap time. I would love to be wrong. I'd love to see the hard tires get Bobberts or Cole a top 5 result, but I am not sure about how that's going to work out. I do also have to wonder if maybe Cole or Bobberts could go either way, knew that the other one was going to go hard tires, and they're just trying to cover each other off so they know that they won't end up having an impact on the fight between F1R Calvin and ESV Karts, who is the top ESV entry and the top F1R entry thus far in the event. All right, so real quickly, looking at our lead group, F1R Calvin, 38% tire wear right now. ESV Karts, who runs in second, 40% tire wear. So it's very obvious that Calvin is getting much, much better tire life than Karts. COD Chaos, who is in third, 40% as well. So COD Chaos is pretty close to what Karts is doing. And then Iconic Adam, who is fourth, he is at 41%. So it does seem like Calvin has the best tire wear. Karts and COD Chaos are pretty even, and Adam is about the same with Karts and COD Chaos, if not slightly worse off. So I think just that ability to really save the tire throughout the run is going to be fine. Cole and Bobberts still continue to run on circuit. How much longer are they going to stay on these harder tires? 5% left in the fuel tank for Bobberts. He can go for another lap if he wants. For F1R Cole, 4.7% would be a little tighter. But again, I think these two could stay out for another lap if they so choose. And that is exactly what they are doing. So this duo is going to go about 28 minutes roughly on the hard tire. Again, it's not going to get them the stint win. I'm sorry to say, there's no way the hard tires get them the stint win. But I love this. The hard tires generally just do absolutely nothing. But we know the F1R drivers and the ESV drivers are some of the best that TORA has. And now that the strategy rules have really opened up and really loosened up, we finally get to see some top performing drivers, top performing A-Lobby drivers trying some wildly alternate strategies. That in itself makes me so happy. I know that Cole and Bobberts are likely going to finish well outside of the top 10, but man, I am so happy to see these guys on some hard tires. Nothing really closing down in the top 4 positions at the moment. These two are kind of in a stalking battle. The next proper fight on track is Indiel Dindu, who is 7th, trying to stay ahead of AMG Heller, who's going back-to-back stints, but he is on a set of Warren Sauce. He'll be pitting very shortly, as will a lot of these drivers here. And then PTG Little Caesar a little bit farther back in 9th, trying to keep ZR Taffy and Dex Donnie behind him. So this is a little menage a trois here for the middle parts of the circuit. 9th, 10th, and 11th right now. little bit wide by Caesar. Taffy looks inside. He's going to commit to the inside. Side by side in the corner. There's contact. Caesar is knocked offline. He's going to lose the position to Taffy. And Taffy moves up into the 9th spot. And now little Caesar under threat from Dex Donnie. Donnie trying to close in, make something happen to Caesar here. Caesar, his tires, 20%. So it looks to me like Caesar's put on a set of mediums more than likely. Taffy is at 40, so he's likely on softs, and Donnie, so Taffy's on softs, and yeah, Donnie is also most definitely on softs, so Caesar's on the harder tires now, thinking long. Kart's pitting now, but Calvin is going to stay out for a little bit longer. So Calvin is really confident in how far he can push the life of his tires. This is going to get interesting. And Cole and Bobberts finally pit after going 28 minutes and about 20 seconds on a set of hards. It's a bold strategy, Pat, and I wonder if Cole and Bobberts could make it a 3-stop strategy. Hard, medium. We're going to keep an eye on that as this goes forward. But while several of our drivers, our top performers, are making their first, and in Kart's case, second stop, we're going to knock out an ad break. And when we come back, we should be able to see where the rest of the field turns out here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. Karts is your first driver to have made 2 pit stops. He pitted out of the 2nd position, and the rest of our leaders are paying now, but Karts elected to pit 1 lap earlier than our top drivers, and now Karts is going to have to deal with Little Caesar, who is going to be out on track for a little bit. Caesar is not about to pit, so Karts has to figure out a way to get by Caesar manually, and this is the move. He's going to the inside! Side by side under heavy braking as they come into the chicane. And boy, that was easy for Karts. Karts is cutting through traffic like it doesn't exist. Meanwhile, Calvin, Cog Chaos, and Iconic Adam have all pitted, and NDL Dindu is going to cycle back to the lead here at Spa. Where is Karts going to end up in relation to Calvin? That is going to be the real question. Calvin coming out of pit lane now. There's Karts coming out of the hairpin just behind. So Calvin needs to get his tires up to temperature fast. Here comes ZR Taffy, who is just a little bit behind. He's already got nice warm tires. How much of a pressure is Taffy going to put on Calvin? Calvin's tires aren't warm yet as they go up through Al Rouge, through Radion. Taffy is still right there, but now Taffy looks like he might be losing the draft on Calvin. And Karts is closer to Calvin, but not close enough to put a threat on him. Now Karts is going to have to deal with gain by ZR Taffy. Taffy has to go after Calvin if Karts wants a shot at him, but no, that's not going to happen. Taffy knows where the limits of his tires are. He's not going to push the issue, and now Karts is right behind him as they come into Sector 2, and oh my goodness, he drove by him like Taffy wasn't even there. Karts has been absolutely fantastic at navigating traffic, and the gap that had opened up between Calvin and Karts after Calvin took a Dreams line now has closed down to about a third, if not a quarter, of what it was before. The big thing though is that now Karts is on tires that are a lap older than Calvin's, so Calvin's going to have a tire advantage going forward here. But this could be really interesting because Karts now has shown that he does have what it takes to clear traffic with no issue. If Calvin starts dealing with traffic problems, Karts might have him nipped in that scenario. The other thing to keep an eye on is NDL Dindu, who ran the first stint of the race on mediums, and we believe he is going back-to-back on the medium tires right now. He is leading for the second time thus far today. Dindu, along with Karts and Calvin, have been your only three leaders throughout this event. And Karts is pulling up behind Calvin. He is trying to put the pressure on the F1R driver big time early on here. This is the strongest that we have seen the ESV team be against that top F1R team all day long. Maybe in the dry, the ESV team has a little bit more in the bag to put against the F1R team. Through that high-speed turn 5 bend. Taffy finally goes ahead and makes a stop. Little Caesar is now cycled up into the 4th position. Again, he went, we believe, soft medium on his tire strat. So Little Caesar is kind of on an alternate strat all on his own right now. Calvin and Karts, though, we believe both are still on soft tires. Karts is just has an extra lap of wear already at the 22% range, while Calvin is currently at the 11% range right now. And that gap is now opening up back in Calvin's favor. When will Dindu elect to make his stop? He is at 46% right now, so it will likely not be for another 2 laps at minimum. What about Little Caesar, who we believe went soft medium? How much longer can he stay out? Ooh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's doing something else, because his tires have even less wear than Dindu. Did he go soft hard? Has he elected to put on a set of hard tires, maybe? On a wild, radical strategy. He does have a little bit of engine damage, which is not going to help him. But he seems to be on a wild strat all on his own. Also, somehow, CH Racing has fallen way off the pack. I wonder if he's had an accident and I just missed it. And if so, I do apologize for missing that in that scenario. VER Dr. Ice will likely have to pit, maybe not at the end of this lap, but very shortly. So if he has to make 2 stops roughly every 40 minutes, and it's a 100-minute race, you'd be looking at 5 stops. Well, it might be able to actually make it a 4-stop overall for Dwarf, potentially. What about RBM6? When is he going to elect to pit? He's at 65% wear. He's going to have to pit sooner rather than later. And then what about this driver here? ESV Bobberts, along with F1R Cole. Their first stint was on the hard tires. Are they trying to go back-to-back on the hards? That'll be an interesting question. I think Cole might be going back-to-back on the hard tires. Bobbert might have gone hard medium. I think Cole might be going hard, trying to make something happen by just minimizing pit stops. ZR Eternium and C1 Munns, along with Iconic Adam, who's on fresher tires behind them, having a little bit of a spat for position. RBM6 finally jumping into the pits now. And ZR Eternium will join him. Here comes Iconic Adam. Now he has to try and figure out a way by Munns. Munns slides off circuit right in front of him. I guarantee you Adam's not going to be super happy with how that turned out. Munns can probably stay out for this lap and another lap, but I wouldn't push it any farther than that right now. Karts continues to run in the tire tracks of F1R Calvin. Close enough to get a hint of a draft, but not really close enough to put the pressure on Calvin. But that might not matter. Karts pitted a lap earlier, but maybe, now that we know medium tires are an option, maybe Karts is going to try something, run a stint late on the medium tires to try and leapfrog Calvin on circuit. In overall distance, this ESV team has a massive gap on everyone else in distance. They are almost certain to win the overall event. But this is for stint victory. It's for a little bit of pride to show that the ESV team still has something of merit that they can fight with. Maybe Karts can make something out of this. But we don't know yet. Again, Didn't Do out in first place is going to be kind of the wild card. Didn't Do running medium strategies right now. He's likely going to be pitting. If not at the end of this lap, then at the end of the following lap. We think that Didn't Do is just going to try and do all mediums all the way through here. Little Caesar in fourth is kind of the wild one. We think he may have gone soft hard on his first two stints, which would be a ridiculous strategy. But maybe it's something that has some merit to it. You have Dex Cod Chaos farther back. We believe is also going soft medium right now. And then Iconic Adam, who is even farther behind, who started on soft. We believe he is also on a soft medium. But Cod Chaos running soft medium still has not caught Little Caesar, who we believe is on a soft hard. Okay, and now Didn't Do finally pits. So he finally gets off of medium tires, so he can make 2 pit stops every 40 minutes, roughly. You do the math, a pit stop every 20 minutes. Didn't Do, if he just goes mediums all the way through, might be able to make this a 4-stopper. While Calvin and Karts, I think, are looking at potential 5 or 6 stops, depending on how this is going. And Karts is right there. He has closed the gap back down on Calvin again. This is a legitimate fight for position. I have to wonder, has Calvin damaged the car or something? Has something gone wrong with the engine that has brought him in? No, there's no signs of that being the case. He's at 32% wear, though. Karts is at 45. Oh, that would explain it. Calvin has elected to put on medium tires on this stint. Karts is running another set of softs to keep up with Calvin. So that seems to settle it then. Karts is not going to be able to do anything to Calvin then, because Karts is going to have to pit, not this lap, but probably next lap, and Calvin will be able to stay out a lot longer if he is running the mediums now. So while Karts is able to hold on and fight with Calvin, he's going to have to pit sooner. He's going to lose a huge chunk of time in the process. And when Karts pits, he's going to end up fighting with traffic again. Calvin, by running mediums now, will likely not have to deal with traffic for a significant period of time. Also, Cod Chaos has now just about caught Little Caesar. You look at Cod Chaos's tires, he's at 37%. You look at Little Caesar's, who we believe has gone soft hards, he is at 55.8% right now. Again, Caesar is on a wild, bold strategy all on his own and just has nothing he can do to fight back against Cod Chaos. I'm really interested to see where Caesar's strategy ends up putting him long-term. Bobberts is another one I'm interested to see how it goes the rest of the way. Excuse me. Because Bobberts, we believe, has gone hard medium, and these tires are just about cooked for him. And then F1R Cole, we believe, has gone hard early on here, trying to just minimize overall pit stops as the event goes on. Karts continues to run in Calvin's tire tracks, but I think Karts has hit the fall-off point. He's going to have a bit of a draft on him, potentially going down the front straightaway, maybe even down through Al Rouge and Radion. But he's going to lose so much time in Al Rouge and Radion. I don't think he's going to be able to keep with Calvin for the rest of this lap. Still, he has done a good job to do everything he can to try and get into F1R Calvin's headspace. Although it's going to definitely be controversial, and there could be penalties coming. Now Little Caesar finally pits after about 41 minutes. He finally makes his second stop. Munz is going to pit. What about Bobberts, who we believe has gone to hard mediums? He stays out a little longer as anticipated. So will F1R Cole right now. Oh yeah, Karts has lost Calvin now. That fight is dead. It's over. Karts has lost Calvin. Still, it has been a legitimately strong run that he has put together. Cole, who has gone hard, we believe, has now cycled up into 9th position on the racetrack. And it's going to be a long time before he pits again. Probably not long enough to do anything to the top 3, but 4th on bag, maybe he can do something. Again, Cod Chaos, we believe, has gone soft medium. Iconic Adam, we believe, has gone soft medium. Bobbert, hard medium, still waiting on their next stop. Honestly, Cod Chaos and Adam have gone soft medium to be a little bit more accurate, all things considered. That is what we actually think it is, soft medium. Calvin should be at soft medium as well, we believe, yeah. And then Karts is going to be softs. He's going to have to pit this time. Not who I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at Bobberts, because Bobberts has been caught by Dindu. Dindu, who has been going, we believe, all mediums all the way through the event, has caught him. Excuse me. Game! Don't lag out on me, please. And CH Racing seems to have disconnected. We're going to try and reach out to CH Racing, see if he wants to talk with us here. A little bit farther back. What is the tire life on Heller? Heller is at 52%. I think Heller is on medium, soft, or soft, medium, something like that. Karts finally goes ahead and jumps into the pit lane right now. And he'll be joined by ESV Bobberts, who finally gets on to his second pit stop. Bobberts ran hard mediums, and he finally makes a stop now. Bobberts likely trying to do a four-stop strategy, but with no tire fall off whatsoever is likely the goal that he is going for. Again, Cole, could he be trying hard medium in a three-stop strategy? That is what I'm really interested to see. Well, Karts is now the highest of everyone who has gone all soft for all of their stints. Cole only at 34%. I'm telling you, he's on hards again. So when will our top four pit? Because we believe they're on medium tires right now. Mediums seem to be able to go about 20 minutes. Calvin can probably go to the end of this lap and probably another lap after that if he so chooses for COD Chaos, who's a lot farther back on the circuit. His tire life is looking a lot worse, but I think he could do about the same. And then Iconic Adam, his tire life is even worse. I don't think he'll be able to do quite the same. And then you have Indiel Dindu, who we believe is going all mediums all the way through. Well, this might be a set of softs. He is burning through this set of tires right now. And then you get to this. Dex Donnie, along with ZR Taffy and RBM6 and F1R Cole, all on top of each other in this big fight. Donnie, what is Donnie's tires looking like? 59%. Jeez Louise. And he is struggling to keep ZR Taffy behind and RBM6 behind. And then you have F1R Cole running just a little bit behind that trio. And he'll pick up positions on these three once these three pit very shortly here. Strategy has gone all over the place. So this is fantastic. I'm so happy to see open strategy here in a TORA event finally. Oh, wide is the Dex car. And Taffy looks to the inside. They'll put him on the outside as they go with a high-speed left-hander. 6 is right there. Someone may have to lift. Who's going to lift going through this high-speed right-hander? None of them. And ZR Taffy slides off circuit behind RBM6. And then goes deep under braking. Goes really deep under braking. And Donnie is going to hold station and makes contact and turns the donut car. As he was trying to get into pit lane, he turns the donut car. Well, yeah, that's not how 6 wanted to see it go, I imagine. Contact coming into pit lane, and 6 gets turned. And that's going to put Taffy and Cole well ahead of RBM6 for now. Keeping things clean has not been an easy job for most of these drivers here on circuit. COD Chaos has finally gone ahead and made a stop. He is now in nice clean air while Taffy and Cole are fighting behind. He should be just far enough ahead that he won't have to deal with them. And Cole has got a run on Taffy. Taffy is losing ground to Cole. Taffy may have pushed his tires a bit too far, and here comes Cole doing the hard strategy, fighting by for position. He's going to go deep, and he'll clear Taffy. Also, iconic Adam went ahead and made a stop, and he is now buried in the field. Now, he does have a big clean air behind, but he's going to catch ZR Eternium relatively shortly here. F1R Calvin continues to lead at the head of this field. He has been going nice and far on his tires, but is 72% now. Is this too far? Has Calvin pushed his medium tires too far? He is off! He is way off circuit there! I think he's pushed his tires too far. He's got to be hemorrhaging time. I'm also imagining he'll probably get clipped post-event for going off circuit there, but Calvin is hemorrhaging time now, sliding off circuit. We're likely going to see Dindu pit eventually as well. But I think Calvin's going to pit and Dindu will end up ahead of him. Yes, Calvin pits. Where is he going to end up in relation to ESV Karts? We're going to go ahead and take a Twitch-mandated ad break, and we'll be back here momentarily at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. We are watching VER Dwarf as he runs behind F1R Cole and RBM6 right now. We have about 50 minutes left in this stint. So what I'm probably going to do is I am going to hope that stint 6 gets a little bit of a delay. Even if it's just a 3-minute delay, that would help. And I'm going to try and run this broadcast all the way to the end. You will see where everyone finishes. And then I will end this broadcast and hopefully jump into stint 6. That's what I'm going to try to do here right now. What do you mean ad is about to start? I already ran that ad. Shut up, Twitch. Dwarf trying to get by Cole and RBM6, but 6 is struggling. 6 has pushed his tires too far, and now Cole is getting back by VER. Dwarf is in an interesting position because Dwarf still has some tire life, but not a lot, so Dwarf is really trying to put the pressure on Cole. Again, Cole is running hard. He is trying to minimize pit stops by running hard tires all the way through, and while I don't think F1R Cole is going to be able to fight for a stint win or anything, this could put this F1R team in position to get another top 5 result here. Accelerating down into the hairpin once again. Dwarf continues to run right behind F1R Cole. Cole has been very interesting to watch thus far. He is 2 pit stops ahead, basically, of where a lot of other drivers got him. We may have just had someone drop out. What's happened? We have to know. It doesn't look like... Oh, no, it's Dex Galifio. One of the Dex team guys have suddenly dropped out. We're going to try and reach out to Dex Gleefio and see if they're willing to talk with us here. I said we're going to try and reach out to Dex Gleefio. Show me their name. Okay, we're not going to get Dex Gleefio's name. Well, if Gleefio is listening, we're going to go. I do want to invite you to go ahead and jump into the party I'm in, but for some reason, Xbox is not showing that as an actual user for some reason. I do apologize for that. VER Dwarf has finally muscled his way by F1R Cole, but look at this. Just as you get by, he has to pit probably at the end of this lap. That has kind of been the way it has gone. Every driver that gets by Cole has to pit almost a lap right afterwards. The other driver to keep an eye on is ESV Bobberts, because Bobberts went hard tires on the first stint, then mediums, and we think he might be on mediums again. We think that Bobberts might be trying to set himself up for some sort of 3-stop strategy here. Cole, I think, is going to be on something closer to maybe a really outlandish 2-stopper. I don't think he will be on a 2-stopper. I think Cole's tires are too cooked. I don't think he'll be able to make a 2-stopper work. But I think Cole might be able to make a 3-stopper going hard mediums. For Bobberts, he might be going hard, medium, hard maybe. Or maybe he will commit to a 4-stop late on the mediums and just try to be on a scenario where he never has any tire fall off here. You can see VER Dwarf actively struggling to stay on circuit. And now Dindu goes ahead and pits just as Karts had gotten by him. Right now, Karts is leading Calvin, but that's because Karts has been going all soft throughout the majority of this run. He's on soft tires again right now. Calvin has ran a stint on the medium tires, so he is saving his tire life right now. He is thinking longer term, but Karts is just trying to beat Calvin on sheer outright pace. It's going to be really hard to tell where that's actually going to end up putting him overall. Dindu still in pit lane, finally completes his 3rd stop, and he's going to end up behind Codcast, behind Iconic Adam. Is he still going to be ahead of Cole? That's going to be the most important thing. Where is Cole going to be in relation to Dindu? Oh my goodness, Cole is ahead of Dindu! So medium is slower than hard, it seems. Cole is ahead of Dindu, and Dindu is behind Bobberts, so Bobberts has gotten ahead on the hard, medium strat as well. Oh my goodness, Dindu is going to be absolutely livid hearing that drivers who ran on hard tires is ahead of him right now. Hard to believe that's happened. Dindu runs behind Bobberts. Now Dindu's going to have a massive tire advantage over Bobberts for the next little bit here, though. Puts the bumper to him. Kind of knocked both of them sideways. And look, it is F1R Cole leading this group and slowing this group all down all over again. Again, time and time again, drivers keep running up and catching Cole, and then they burn up their tires just as they get by him. But I don't think that's going to be the case this time. We know that ESV Bobberts should have some good tires right now. I think. I would imagine so. Does Bobberts have good tires? No! Again! We see someone get by Cole, and then just as they get by Cole, they're going to have to pit right afterwards. Cole is only at, what, 40%? No, oh no, never mind. Cole is at 59%. He's going to have to pit this time. Okay, so Cole is finally, I think, probably pushed it to the limit on tire life, but it has been an incredible drive watching F1R Cole make this work, but all good things come to an end. Little Caesar also finally clears them as well. We believe Little Caesar went soft, hard, medium. So Caesar seems to be all over the board when it comes to strategies thus far. But Cole's going to pit, and then we're going to see Bobberts and Little Caesar pit shortly afterwards. Dindu is the only one in this group who's going to be out on track for a little while. And I think Dindu may have to pit a lot sooner than we think. I think Dindu may have put on softs this time by, as he's compromised by Little Caesar coming out of chicane. So Bobberts now up into 5th, and he still has yet to make his 3rd stop. He'll likely make it at the end of this circuit. And Dindu held up by Little Caesar, not going to be happy with that. Held up behind that Audi. Dindu running in the Lincoln Co. machine. Accelerating downhill on the run down to Al Rude and Radion once more. Good God, Cole's gonna fall to last of all our drivers running though. Here comes Dindu. He's got the run now. And we should see him clear of Dindu under braking. Yeah, very easily clear under braking. So while NDL didn't have a great time at Stint 3, they have been slowly on the recovery drive, and a top 5 result overall might still be in the cards for NDL Dindu. Little Caesar has a bit of a slide farther back there. Karts, has he pushed his tires too far? Because Calvin is now running him down. Karts is at 62%. He's likely going to have to pit at the end of this lap. Calvin is closing. Again, Calvin ran a stint on the mediums earlier, but then went on to the softs afterwards. So Calvin and Karts are offset on each other when it comes to their tire life at the moment, because they're running on slightly alternate strategies. And we wonder if Karts is just going to run soft tires all the way through here, because if so, Karts is going to be looking at what could be a 6-stop strategy today. And yep, there goes Karts coming into the pits. So he's likely going to fall behind Calvin and Cod Chaos and Iconic Adams. We don't know where he's going to be in relation to Dindu and Bobberts. And Dindu still holds station over Bobberts, but he's likely going to have to pit at the end of this lap. Dindu is going to be staying out for a little bit longer, though, I imagine. Little Caesar will likely have to pit this lap as well. Yeah, there's the word. Bobberts pitting this time by. Little Caesar staying out for another lap somehow. Little Caesar is just kind of on the chaos strategy. We have no idea what kind of tire strats he's running on. He's just kind of throwing caution to the wind, running whatever seems like it might work. And where's Karts going to be in relation to Dindu? Oh, Karts is behind Iconic Adam, but still well ahead of Dindu, as Dindu is still being harassed by Little Caesar. I doubt that Caesar is going to have anything for Dindu. No, something's wrong. Dindu is going to lose a position as their engine damage. Oh my goodness, and no! Dindu has engine damage! And a driver who on an alternate strategy was fighting for a potential podium, if not maybe even a stint win, has significant engine damage and is now going to be hemorrhaging time going forward. It's all come unglued for the NDL team again. And the NDL team again becomes unglued. And now it's going to be hemorrhaging time with how much engine damage they got. They're losing over 1/6 of their engine power. So frustrating for the NDL team. Little Caesar muscles his way by for the moment. Again, Little Caesar's kind of on the anarchy and the chaos tire strategy. We have no idea what strategy he's really trying to do. F1R Calvin now goes back to the lead. We believe he has gone all softs except for one stint. One stint we believe he has run on the mediums. So he'll likely be paying in a few laps here. We believe that Cod Chaos is on a similar strat. Actually, Calvin may have gone 2 medium stints because Cod Chaos is about to burn up a set of tires here. And then you have Iconic Adam, who has also burnt the crap out of his tires and is about to be caught by ESV Karts. So Karts, doing the all-soft strategy, may have what it takes to run down Adams and even Cod Chaos and maintain second. But I don't think that Karts has what it takes to do anything to F1R Calvin. He fought with him very aggressively early on, but the F1R team seems to have been able to do some crazy stuff when it comes to their tire life. And speaking of crazy stuff with their tire life, F1R Cole, we believe, is on a all-hard strategy right now. Maybe he's going that way. Maybe he's finally putting on a set of mediums, but Cole going to be in a really interesting spot. We still have 40 minutes left. Potentially, Cole could go medium to the end now. Make it a 3-stopper. Hard, medium. That could be the strategy that Cole is going for. He is dead last on track, well behind Bobberts, who is the next last person on track. We think Bobberts is going to go hard, medium. So we think that all of Bobberts' remaining tire strats are going to be on medium tires, and he's hoping to just get positions back as everyone else is on a worn-out tire 4-stop or a 5-stop. I don't know how it's going to work out for ESV Bobberts or F1R Cole. I'm glad to see him on an alternate strategy, but I just see no way that this strategy works out for them at all. I just can't see it happening. Iconic Adam finally comes out of pit lane, but Codcast has stayed out a little longer. And Karts has already gotten by Cod Chaos. As Cod Chaos has also made his stop. So yeah, Karts definitely has the pace, even with the extra pit stop, to be ahead of Cod Chaos and Iconic Adam. But the thing is that Karts' fight has been with F1R Calvin. And while Calvin has pushed his tires to some ridiculous numbers earlier in the event, I think Calvin is going to be good enough that he will be able to beat Karts by just running one stop fewer than him as the event goes on. That seems to be the way it is turning out here. Fight once again for fourth is ZR Taffy, RBM6, VER Dwarf, all on top of each other here. So Iconic Adam is here, and Iconic Adam has nice fresh tires compared to those four ahead, so you should be able to catch them and cut through them without too much issue. Hopefully. We're going to ride on board and see what he can actually, I don't even want to ride on board. I just want to ride with and see if any of these drivers can actually fight with each other. Oh, there's contact in 6 aside. 6 pushes Taffy sideways. Taffy is still sideways. And 6 moves into 4th now. Calvin pits a lot earlier than anticipated. With 36 minutes left, I imagine Calvin could probably go soft to the end. Maybe soft medium, but I think soft might be in Calvin's playbook now to the end here. Taffy under threat from Dwarf. Dwarf under threat from Ethereum. And now Adam is there. And again, Adam has better tires than those drivers ahead of him on track. Dwarf sneaks by Taffy. Taffy now under threat from Ethereum. Dwarf now falls back behind. They're going to be side by side for those positions. Someone has to back out there, or you're going to slide off circuit. And it's VER. Big slide by Dwarf, and Dwarf's going to hold on. All these cars are on top of each other. There's a little bit of contact. A lot of contact. And that's 6 who jumps into the pits, but all the other 3 are going to stay on circuit for now. Iconic Adam has a run on Ethereum here. Into the hairpin. Makes a dive going into the hairpin. Muscles the ZR Ethereum car offline. Gonna be a drag race between the two as they come down to Al Rouge and Radion. Can't hold it. ZR Ethereum goes back in front. Now Iconic Adam has a good run coming out of Radion. Has a draft. There's a fight ahead between Dwarf and Taffy. While Iconic Adam is back to find with Ethereum. Ethereum defends the inside. Dwarf looks to the outside, but he's looking awfully late. I don't know how deeply is he gonna go under braking. They both break out about the same time. Oh, but Ethereum's held up by Taffy ahead and lets Iconic Adam hold side by side in the next corner now. And finally Adam has to fall back behind. And that is Bobberts who is behind now, trying to make something happen. Bobberts was way down the order earlier, but now all of a sudden Bobberts is back to fight for maybe a top 5 result. And Ethereum falls behind Adams, falls behind Bobberts, and now Adam puts the pressure on ZR Taffy as they head down now. Looks to the inside, going into the double left-hander. Is there going to be contact? No, they keep it clean. Here comes the SV Bobberts on all of them. And Bobberts gets to the inside of Adam. Is he by? Is he clear? Yeah, no, they're still side by side. And they're still side by side. And they're still side by side. Adam has the ideal line coming in the next corner. Bobberts tries to pinch him down, but Adam goes deep in, completes the overtake. He's by. Now Bobberts looks back to the inside, side by side again as they come into sector 3 here. Ethereum goes way off circuit. Dwarf has really pulled away there in 4th, though. This is great news for Dwarf, seeing all these guys fight, because he's just trying to manage his tires right now. Oh, it's Eternium, not Ethereum. I apologize. It is Eternium. I am sorry. I was not saying that out of cruelty. It was... I'm going to blame it on intellectual laziness. So Eternium pits, Taffy pits. Adam and Bobbert still in a fight. He's throwing on radically alternate tire strategies going forward. Dwarf still holding on to 4th place, but how much longer can he hold on to 4th place? He's at 55%. He could probably do this lap, and if he absolutely had to, he could probably do another lap afterwards. Eternium. Not Ethereum, I get it. I've got to blame intellectual laziness. My own intellectual laziness on that. Adam holding station over Bobbert for now, but Bobbert has a fantastic draft. He's going to look to the inside. He's going to pull alongside. They'll be side by side as they go down the Keble straightaway. I think Bobberts is going to have him. Yes, Bobberts has him as Adam breaks nice and early. Doesn't want to go side by side. Through Bobberts goes back up to 5th. What about F1R Cole, who we believe may be on a hard, medium strategy here? He is currently running in 10th position now. Dinju has fallen back behind Little Caesar. And Little Caesar is running behind AFMG Heller. Between these three, Heller is at 26% tire life. Little Caesar, who is on the Chaos tire strat, 18% right now. And then Dindu, who had engine damage earlier, he's trying to recover from that. He is at 17% at the moment. And Cole is far enough back that he's not really able to fight in the middle of this right now. So Karts leads, but he'll likely have to pit either this lap or next. Oh no, he'll be able to stay out for a little bit. So we are going to go ahead and spend a little bit of time watching this fight with Caesar, Heller, and Dindu. And we're going to take a Twitch mandated ad break, and we'll be back momentarily here at Spa-Francorchamps. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps as Dindu and Little Caesar continue their fight. Caesar on the Chaos tire strat. Dindu trying to recover from engine damage earlier, and for the moment, Little Caesar is holding Dindu in place, and AFMG Heller is gradually opening up the gap on them. The real wild card is ESV Bobberts. On a wild strat of his own, he is currently running up in the 4th position, just barely ahead of Iconic Adam. Bobberts, who ran hard tires on the very first stint of the event, is fighting directly with F1R Cole, who did the same thing, and we think that Bobberts might try to go all mediums all the way to the end. It is 28 minutes left in the event, and as you look at Bobberts' tire life right now, he is at 52%. If he so chooses, he could probably go ahead, stay out this lap, stay out another lap after that, and maybe a 3rd lap. I wouldn't really want to push a 3rd lap, but maybe a 3rd lap, then throw on mediums again and go mediums all the way to the end. His tires would be hurting a bit, but he would only have made 4 stops over the course of the entire event. Most other drivers, we anticipate going for 5, 6, and maybe even a 7 stop might be here or there in the field. for F1R Cole, who is currently 9th. We know he ran hard, and we believe he is going to go medium for the rest of the end. We know he is going to be on a 3-stop strategy to the end here. He was dead last at multiple points of the event on this strategy, but things might still fall his way here. We're not sure. When it comes to the fight at the front, ESV Karts is your leader, but he has ran all soft tires all the way through. It seems incredibly obvious that he has nothing he can do to fight against F1R Calvin, who has been maintaining a better pace overall, has ran a few stints on the medium tires, and still has, for the most part, an advantage over Karts on track. Karts' biggest benefit that may come his way is that he has been running all softs. He doesn't have to worry about any tire fall off. Calvin has pushed his tires really far once earlier. He may have to do it again. Also, there is some chaos going on between Karts and Calvin when they were fighting for lead in the first 10 minutes of the race that may end up seeing the penalties be leveled against one or both drivers, depending on how that went. If I missed it earlier, basically there was a little bit of contact, a lot of contact between the two of them. Calvin trying to block Karts, forced Karts' 2 tires into the dirt going down the Camel straightaway, and then at the end of the Camel straight, when they both broke, there was a little bit of contact, and Calvin went off circuit, didn't even try to lift, had a Dreams line before he merged back on, opened up a big gap on Karts, and never made an attempt to try and close the gap back down. So again, we don't know. Penalties between the two of them could go either way in that scenario. I could be completely misinterpreting how that scenario went, and the penalties might end up going for Karts for braking late and knocking Calvin off circuit. To be fair, I may call him as I see him, but I am not a TORA official. That's kind of the positive thing and the frustrating thing about broadcasting TORA races, and all TORA broadcasters know this. The actual results are almost always decided, as we see Karts pits, the actual final results for the events are almost always decided in the steward's office on the Tuesday or the Wednesday after the event is over. And boy, has there been a lot of stuff for the stewards that they will have to look at later on here, as Calvin retakes the lead once more. Dex COD Chaos silently, I think, is going to come home to a 3rd place finish. We are looking at 25 minutes left. I think that COD Chaos here might like to go soft to the end of the event here. Bobberts is pitting now with 25 minutes left, significantly earlier than I anticipated he would. But it looks like he's pushed the tires too far. So for Bobberts, what's the plan? Can he make mediums go 25 minutes, or does he throw on a set of hards? With hard tires, he knows he will not have to worry about tire fall off, but he's going to be way slower than everyone else. With mediums, he's going to have to deal with a lot of tire fall off near the very end. What about Bobberts versus Cole? Cole still has yet to make his 3rd stop of the day, and he's only at 39%. Could Cole maybe go hard, soft? That would be a bold strat. I don't imagine that's what he's going for, but maybe that is. Maybe that's the strat for Cole. Still has yet to make his 3rd pit stop. Little Caesar, who runs up ahead of him, has only made 3 stops, so he will have to pit sooner rather than later as he continues to stalk NDL Dindu. Dindu has muscled his way by Little Caesar, but has also really put some wear on his tires in the process. So these two have really gone back and forth the entire time. AFMG Heller has kind of moved off into a zone of his own right now, but he's going to have to pit likely at the end of this lap. Iconic Adam is running in the 4th position, but does not have the tire life that the 3 drivers ahead of him have. He'll likely have to pit this lap, and if he pits this lap, he may have to elect to put on medium tires just so he doesn't have to pit again and kind of limp the car home. ESV Karts runs in 3rd. We are nearly 100% sure that he is not going to put on softs. I think Karts is on mediums. And is going to run these mediums to the end of this race here. COD Chaos will likely be able to pit this lap, throw on mediums, and go mediums to the end here. And then F1R Calvin out in front. He can likely stay out for another lap or 2. Maybe he throws on softs near the end. Gonna be interesting. Podcast and Adam both finally make their stops, so Karts moves up into second, where we figured he would be. Again, Karts, we believe, is on a set of medium tires. He's going to try and nurse to the end. Calvin going hard on a set of what we believe are medium tires now, but will likely be able to pit, and when he does, he will throw on softs. Light probably won't have to pit this lap, and probably wait another lap, try and get that race timer down to 20 minutes, if not closer to 18 minutes, so he doesn't have to worry about too much tire fall off. And after it all, look at this. F1R Cole is now up into the 6th position, and just ahead of him is COD Chaos, Little Caesar, and NDL Didn't Do. This is going to get wild. We ride on board with COD Chaos as he watches Little Caesar and Didn't Do fighting ahead. Those two are on very worn out tires. COD Chaos is on nice, fresh, we believe should be mediums here. And you can see the two of them side by side again. Dindu versus Caesar. Caesar gained by just barely on the outside. Dindu holding the inside, hard under the brakes between the two of them. And they're both going to hold each other up. We're going to see COD Chaos suck right up onto them like a magnet. Yeah, we're going to go with a magnet. He's going to suck right up to them like a magnet here in Sector 2 now. Little Caesar still has only made 3 stops. We do believe that when Caesar makes a stop, it will probably be at the end of this lap. He'll probably put on a set of mediums and go to the end. Dindu will likely be in a similar scenario. At least that's what I imagine. No! Dindu could go a little farther. Dindu might throw on softs to the end. What about Little Caesar, though? Ooh, they both could go softs to the end. This could get interesting. Little Caesar and Dindu's tire wear is almost the same. They both could end up throwing on a set of softs to the end here. Little Caesar, who I believe has been on every single type of tire strategy throughout this event. Every single type of tire. He's on what I'm calling the chaos strategy. He's been on softs, mediums, and hards. I think Little Caesar might have a legitimate shot at a top 5 result here, fighting with NDL Didn't Do. Calvin and Karts, I think, have an easy lock on the top 2. But every spot from 3rd on down to about 7th could go in a lot of different ways. Maybe even 3rd on down to 8th. Things could get really wild between the rest of these drivers here. Again, COD Chaos is a little bit behind this fight. You can see them, but he's not really in a place to directly fight with them. Yeah, I thought COD Chaos would suck up to this duo quicker, but it does not seem like it's happening. Iconic Adam, who went ahead and has made his final stop here. He's down in 12th. Thought he would be a little bit higher, but yeah, he has put on what looks like another set of mediums, and he will nurse these mediums to the end, so he should not have to worry about tire fall off to the end. RBM6 is pitting. C1 Moons is pitting as well. So we are now seeing drivers finally knock out their final round of pit stops. Somehow, Didn't Do and Little Caesar electing not to pit yet. We are now at about 20 minutes left in the event. F1R Calvin, we believe, will pit at the end of this lap, put on some soft tires, and that will be it to the end. We think that Karts has made his final stop of the day. We believe that Karts is going to be running this set of tires to the end of the event. And once again, we watch this here between Dindu and Little Caesar. Both these drivers are people that we have seen a lot of here on this channel throughout TORA, throughout a lot of other series. Both of them are fantastic drivers. Caesar is kind of like the pure speed chaos driver. Dindu's a little bit more reserved, very methodical, very good at controlling a car that's on the edge. A fantastic meetup between these two. Really getting to see Little Caesar actually have to be a little bit more thinking and a little bit more reserved with his moves, and Dindu has to actually get a little bit more aggressive, really put the elbows out and get a little bit punchy. It's fantastic seeing these two in a zone that we don't normally see them in, and COD Chaos is slowly closing in. But again, Little Caesar and Dindu, we believe, will pit at the end of this lap, throw on softs to the end of the run here. So what we are going to do is we are going to ride on board with Dex COD Chaos through the end of this lap. And we're going to knock out the last mandatory ad break here. And when we come back, we are going to stick with this broadcast to the end of this stint. We're not going to do a post-stint interview. We are going to see everyone stop on track. And immediately after everyone stops on track, and I give you a visual on where everyone is, this stream will end. And then I will go to the other stream. But we will be back. This will be the last ad break in this stream. right. Bobbert's having a fight with VER Dwarf here for 6th position. Welcome back. 16 minutes left. Very interesting scenario here because Bobbert started on the harder tires, but it seems like he's kind of abandoned that, has been going on faster and faster tires as this is going on to try and recover. Meanwhile, F1R Cole up in 5th position still has yet to make what should be their final stop. There's only about 15 minutes left. I would think that Cole would be pitting this time to throw on maybe a set of soft tires to the end. And yes, he's going to have to pit this time. Will likely throw on a set of soft tires to the end of this event. Bobberts and Dwarf are right behind, closing on. But again, Cole is going to be putting on some absolutely wild runs here to the end. But I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything. He's going to lose so much time in the pits. Everyone from 5th all the way back to 15th are all right on top of each other on track. I just don't know if that's going to work out for them. Meanwhile, at the head of the field, Calvin leads. ESV Karts is a relatively close second, closer than what we have seen the ESV drivers be at the end of these stints. But Karts is on an older, harder tire. Calvin is on a fresher, softer tire. So this gap is only going to get bigger. Dindu now pitting with just 15 minutes left. He'll have to throw on a new set of softs. Cole is pitting as well. Bobberts, though, is going to stay out. We think that Bobberts is going to commit to this set of tires he is on and run them to the end. It's going to be hurting, but he should be able to make these tires last to the end. His fight is going to be against Dindu, Iconic Adam, and potentially F1R Cole and VER Dwarf. COD Chaos looks like he's going to be able to hold on to a nice, comfortable 3rd position without any real issue whatsoever. The fight is going to be for 4th and everything else. Where's Cole going to end up? Again, Cole shouldn't have to put in a lot of fuel. Yeah, Cole has 30% fuel. He's still ahead of VER Dwarf. He's back in 10th now, behind RBM6. He's got a lot of clean air behind, but how many of these drivers ahead are on old tires and will have to pit one more time? I think 6 is going to be good to the end. NDL didn't do. Here he is in 8th. He's definitely going to be good to the end. Lil Caesar in 7th should also be good to the end. We literally just saw him pit a little bit ago. It's going to be wild if Lil Caesar ends up being the driver who ends up better off of everyone who has used up his, who ran a stint on the hards. This is Karts. Real quickly, just give you an idea. Karts is at 24.7 tire wear. We believe he is on a set of medium tires he's going to try and nurse to the end. Calvin, who is leading, we believe is on a set of softs that he's going to be able to burn up to the end. He is at 18.8% right now. Again, Bobbert's really interesting scenario because his tires have a lot of wear on them, but it is in his interest to stay out as long as he can, and Iconic Adam is going to try everything he can to run down the gap between himself and Bobberts. Adam has a massive tire advantage on Bobberts on this run to the end here. Again, we will cover this broadcast to the end. We will see the timer go up. We will record where everyone's final position is on track. We will not attempt to do interviews. Once everyone has stopped on track, we will show you very briefly visually where everyone is on the circuit, and then the stream will end, and I will restart the stream for Stint 6. So we will cover Stint 5 to the end, but it will end. There will be no attempt at interviews, and we will immediately start up a new stream for the final stint here. Real quick, someone was asking about Heller's tire wear. He is running 6th at the moment. He is at 42.5%, but he is burning up his tires fast. Doesn't seem to have a lot of fuel left either. It's going to be tight for Heller. If he makes it to the end, it's going to be tight. But the good news for Heller is that Lil Caesar and Dindu spent so much time fighting with each other, I don't think they're going to catch him. And yes, Galifio had a disconnect about halfway through the event, sadly. Seems like every stint I've been in thus far, we have had 2 disconnects or lobby leaves. I guess it doesn't really count as a disconnect. If you have an accident, can't move, so you withdraw. Still, looking at Cole here, who is in 10th position. We believe he is on soft tires to the end now. He is clear of Dwarf, but he is a long way behind 6, Dindu, and Caesar. I think Cole's strategy of hard, soft is just going to come up a little bit short. But again, Bobbert's strategy of hard, mediums may not have been much better. We do not know what Bobbert's tires are going to look like at the end here. He's at 57%. with 9% left in the fuel tank. I do not know what Bobbert's ability is going to be to make it to the end. We got about not quite 4, about 3 more laps. So Bobbert's going to get the rest of this lap at about 3 more laps afterwards. I don't know if Bobberts will have the fuel, let alone the tires, to make it to the end here. Iconic Adam, I think, is going to be able to make it without too much issue here. He's definitely going to have a little bit of tire fall off, but not nothing. That's a double negative. He's not going to have anything close to what Bobberts has. I think Adam should be able to nip Bobberts here, just because Bobberts is going to be so off pace. I think Adam can get 4th. Heller might be able to get 5th. The fight is really going to get interesting here between Little Caesar and Dindu. These two have been back and forth for a while. Dindu had a big case of engine damage earlier in the event. Little Caesar has been on the chaos strat trying to make something happen. He has ran a stint on a medium tire, hard tire, and a bunch of stint on the soft tires. And then look behind him is RBM6, who is ready to watch his duo as well. And if all 3 of these guys get into it and start really holding each other up, it will bring F1R Cole back into the fray. Cole is not close to this trio yet, but if they start getting really sideways, spinning themselves off circuit, you will see F1R Cole right in the middle of this here. Six putting big pressure on Little Caesar here. And Bobberts pitted. Bobberts pits with 10 minutes left. So Bobberts has abandoned his strategy. Bobberts is going to abandon his strategy here. And how far down? And Heller pitted! Why has Heller pitted? He should have the tires and the fuel to go to the end. It would have been close, but he would have made it. But no, Heller is pitting as well. We don't know why, but Heller is throwing away what could have been a top 5 result. Bobberts is pitting as well. Iconic Adam is easily going to bring home a 4th now. And now the fight between Dindu, Caesar, 6 is all going to be a fight for the 5th spot on track. And Dindu holds station. 6 has gotten by Little Caesar. Can 6 do anything to Dindu ahead of them now? Bobberts, where's he going to be in relation to Cole? Bobberts has just come out of the track, and there goes Cole! Cole goes by ESP Bobberts! These two started on the same strategy, and now they're on top of each other! Bobberts has made 2 extra pit stops, and he is behind Cole, but not by that much! This fight between this duo could still go in either direction, and again, the crazy thing is, these two both ran a stint on hard tires, but it is Little Caesar, who is up at 7th, who might beat both of them on a stint on hard tires. Somehow. Again, race isn't over. 8.5 minutes left. Things could still get swifty here. So Dindu, 6, and Little Caesar all fighting out for 5th spot on track. Just a bit over 8 minutes left here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Downhill to the bottom of the hill now. 6 runs right behind. This car had some disconnects early in earlier stints. It's had accidents, it's involved in all sorts of chaos, but the RBM6 driver, he is really putting the team on his back, trying to pull out a top 5 result, and that would be fantastic for this team. Put a little bit of a shot into the team's performance here coming to the end. ESV Bobberts is still fighting with F1R Cole. For the moment, Cole has the station. Bobberts stuck behind him, though. Top 4 results all pretty much locked in. Calvin, Cod, Chaos, and Adam. And while all 4 of them have ended up on different strategies throughout the event, all of them are basically where they are on merit, on pace. Everything's up in the air, though, for 5th on back. Real quickly looking at the tire wear for Dindu and 6. 6 is at 56%. And he's got this lap and another lap almost guaranteed. What about Dindu here, who runs in 5th? Dindu has 33%. I think Dindu has 6's number. What about Little Caesar? Caesar's at 29%. But Caesar is struggling to keep up with Dindu now, but I do think he's going to catch 6 when 6's tires fall off. Thing is that Little Caesar is being run down gradually by Cole and Bobberts. So all 3 drivers who may have gone ahead and ran a stint on the hard tires, they all might end up on top of each other near the end, despite the fact that all three of them were on wildly different strategies. The only thing in common was that they all were on hard tires. All three of them are starting to close in. So I think Didn't Do is going to lock up 5th, but 6th through 9th could all still be up for play here. I will say, great job on 6 being able to hold on to Didn't Do's rear wing as long as he has thus far. Crazier thing on top of that is that 5th through 15th all are so close. They're all close enough that they almost all share the camel straightaway with each other. That's how close the mid to rear of the grid has been. It's really only been the top 4 who have kind of been out in their own zone. And it took Didn't Do a long time to open up a big enough gap where he could be even at this head of this field. It's been very, very close here the entire time. Now we're seeing 6 really lose ground to Didn't Do. But look at this. Cole has Bobbert still behind him, and Cole is running down Little Caesar here. Cole's almost burnt out off all the best on his tires. His tires are going to extinguish at just the last best possible moment. Caesar still has a little bit more life on his tires, but Cole seems to have his number. This is going to be a legitimate fight for 7th. And if they catch 6, it is going to be a legitimate fight for 6. Didn't Do, I think, is gone. But 6th place is really up for grabs now. These drivers are going to complete this next lap, and I think most of them are going to finish here about at the end of Sector 2 when the time is up. That is your 4th place car, Iconic Adam, going by. You'll see Didn't Do go by. And now here comes this new glut for 6th position. And here comes the move to the inside of Little Caesar. That's Cole. Cole hits the inside wall, but he's cleared Caesar without issue. Caesar can't even come close to putting up a fight. Cole just seems to be way better thus far at this stage of the race. There goes Didn't Do. There goes 6. Cole, Little Caesar, and Bobberts. And now they've all caught 6. And Cole goes by 6. Little Caesar goes by 6. Little Caesar has a draft now on Cole. Looks to the outside. Is there enough room? He's going to try and force it. They're side by side. Now into the braking zone. A little bit of contact. Neither of them had a good run there through the braking zone. They're all on top of each other. And now Bobbert pulls up behind 6. And Cole might just nip Caesar here, it looks like. 3.5 minutes left. Big slide off there by Caesar. Bobberts has cleared 6. Frustrating thing for 6 is that 6 is so burnt off on his tires and the field is so close. He's at 75%. He's likely going to fall out of the top 10 with the way this is all falling apart for him here. But Cole, on a 3-stop strategy, hard, 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 soft, is now in 6th position. He's nowhere near Didn't Do. But he's going to pull off a 6th place in this second F1R car. Little Caesar's not done with him yet. Little Caesar is done with him. Little Caesar has just about been caught by ESV Bobberts. I think Caesar has worn off. Well, no, his tires are still good. It just seems like Caesar seems to be struggling a bit here near the very end. I don't know what the issue is. I think Bobberts is going to get Caesar here at the very end. Yep. Here we go, Bobberts. He's going to try and take the long way around Caesar. And is he going to be able to clear him in the high-speed right-hander? No, not yet. Who goes deeper? They're both staying it side by side, but now Bobberts should have the inside line under braking, and Caesar backs out and says, I'm not going side by side with you going into the chicane. Tries to straight line out to get a good run, but Bobberts' car is right there. So yeah, that fight is over. Bobberts steals 7th from Little Caesar here. What's basically their last lap. Cole, still 6, and now he sees Bobberts behind, but I think he has enough of a gap that Cole overall is going to end up ahead of everyone else who ran a stint on the hard tires. Not going to help the team in overall distance, really. They're still well behind a lot of other good teams, but this has been a fantastic drive, and I love seeing this kind of wild off strategy thing going on. This F1R team, along with the ESV team that Boberts is on, they both knew they were not in contention for winning overall due to disconnects and instants earlier. So it's great to see them try alternate strategies here in these other stints. But this entry, the F1R Calvin entry, will now be 3 stints in a row that they have won, and they have absolutely destroyed this ESV team that has had a second, fourth, and second over their last runs. This team likely going to be second overall, but nowhere near what F1R Calvin is going to do. There may be penalties later, but I don't think it's going to be enough of a penalty to knock Calvin's team off the top. And then Dex, COD, Chaos, this team's also kind of been all over the place, but I think they may have enough to maybe be fighting for third overall. Iconic Adams, the really interesting one. This team has not been fighting top 5 on merit, but now they're kind of fighting back. And I think Iconic Adam is going to be fighting with NDL Dindu. With about 30 seconds left, look at Adam. He's at 65% tire life. NDL Dindu has actually closed the gap down, but with a similar tire life, I think they're just barely going to be on top of each other. As we see Calvin cross the start-finish line here. Karts is just about going to get to the start-finish line at the end of this here now. Cole and Boberts are going to hold station, I believe. Little Caesar has been completely lost compared to the two of them. Boberts trying to make a last-second run on Cole. Cole is wide! Cole is wide and Boberts is by! And time's up! Over! Plow! And Boberts got by Cole at the last possible second in the final corner. All right, real quick, a look through the entire field. This is Calvin's position, your stint winner. ESV Karts, second place. Third place is Dex, COD, Chaos. Fourth place is Iconic Adam. Fifth place will be NDL Dindu. Sixth place will be ESV Boberts. Then F1R Cole and Little Caesar all on top of each other. Ninth place will be VER Dwarf. 10th place will be ZR in Eternium. 11th place will be C1 Moons. 12th will be AFMG Heller. 13th will be RBM6. 14th will be ZR Taffy. And 15th will be Dex X Donnie. And with that said and done, that will close out our broadcast for Stint 5. We're going to end this broadcast, and I'm going to start a broadcast up almost right away here for Stint 6 and the final stint here at Spa 12 Hours. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Farewell and goodbye, everyone.